Hi everybody, Jo here again. Thanks so much for popping in. As always, lovely to spend time with you. Now, as it's the first of the month, and my goodness, I can't believe it's August already. I don't know where this year's going. It's flying. Oh, speaking of flying, we have an owl flying. Yes, so with it being the first of the month, we've got a new Lavinia challenge. And our challenge this month is through the trees. Now, as you know, you can enter the challenge, all the information's on the website, and the winner is chosen at random. So we all stand a chance of winning. And you can win £40 to spend at Lavinia. Now think of the goodies you can buy with that. So I thought I'd come up with a little bit of inspiration for you, maybe just to get those crafty juices flowing so that you could enter. And when I thought of Through the Trees, as you know, I'm really into doing these circular designs, and I just thought these fabulous Tree of Hope and Tree of Courage would fit beautifully around my design. So that's the way my head worked. You know it's a dangerous place, don't you? So I thought I'd show you how to do it. And it all starts off with a piece of, doesn't that look a lot smaller? Same size though, look. Always surprises me this. When you mat and layer things, how they just look so much bigger. Anyway. It's a 5.5-inch square piece of multifarious cardstock. And we're going to use the Acetate circle mask. And again, it's the larger one with the aperture. Now, what I need to be mindful here, I don't want to pop it in the middle of the card. Because if you look at the design, where the trees are, we need it sort of a little bit lower, don't we? Nearer the bottom of the design. So I need to be mindful of that. So I'll pop it sort of there. Now I'm going to blend some colours through. And the three colours I'm going to use my elements. And I'm going to use Sundance, Russet Orange and Emperor Red. And I've got three lovely stencil brushes. So I'm just going to take the lids off because then I can... And I'm just putting them in order. As you know, I'm a bit funny. I like to put them in order, just the way that I'm going to use them. Get my brushes there. Right, just check you can see. So I'm going to pop that we said about there, didn't we? Do you think that's right? Well, if not, I'm blaming you. So I'm going to start with my yellow and dabbing off on the lid. And again, I want my yellow at the top, so I'm just going to come in and just gently flick and then blend. I'm going to come in, add a little bit more. Again, on my mask and a flick all the way around and then a blend. Then I'm going to come into the orange and do exactly the same. This time I'm going to first of all flick from the sides, just because I've got most ink on my brush. And then once I've flicked from the sides, look, then I'll come across the middle and blend. If you start directly in the middle, you've got more chance of getting lines. Sorry, excuse me. So we'll just... had a workshop at the weekend, so I've been doing lots of talking. So my voice is still recovering. I have to say though, Carl always likes it because I have to be quiet when I come back. So we'll blend that into there. And then we'll come in with our lovely red. Now I've got quite a bit on the lid here, so I'm just going to pick that up first. And I'm going to start at the bottom because that's where I want my deepest colour. I can pick a bit more up, a bit stronger I think, yeah. And then blend that up into the orange. And these brushes are just perfect for this. And then I'm just going to look at it and see, I think I want a little bit more orange. So I'm just going to pick a little bit more orange and just come over that middle bit. And then last thing, just bring a little bit more yellow just into the top and then blend over the whole thing. Yeah. So it's a great way of practicing your blending. Now I'm just going to wipe my circle mask here, just with my Inky Binky, because again it's got plenty of ink on it, and if you don't wipe it, We want to put it away clean. Again, it's all about looking after our tools. You know, they always say a good workman looks after his tools, and it is important because our inks, our brushes, for me anyway, they are tools of my trade. And I'm just going to pop the lids on. Really, I do it just to try and save me putting my hands in them because I'm liable to do that. So if we just get our stamps out now, and we're going to use 2 colours for our stamps. So the first tree we're going to stamp in the morning mist, just because it'll pop it further into the distance, and then we'll come in with the nocturne. So we've got the tree of hope and the tree of courage. So we're going to stamp the tree of hope first, and this is the one that's going to be in grey. So again, lots of light tapping, that horse running up the hill, and we'll just, I always manage to catch these ones. So this one, I just want to position it, and my head might come over just so the foot of the tree is there. And it's not easy to see when you're recording this because your head gets in the way, and I don't really want it to get in the way. So again, we'll give that a good stamp and lift that up. And I just wanted it to just follow that shape. So now I'm coming in with the tree of courage. And thank you, one of the ladies, I have great difficulty remembering which is which, and she lovely told me, and sorry I can't remember your name, that it was a C for courage. So I remember now. So this one's the tree of courage. So this one, I'm going to swap and ink up in the nocturne, the black, just because I want it to be a little bit further forward. So again, nice light tapping. And we'll just position this one. Again, if I can get it just round, something like that. And hopefully it'll just overlap slightly at the base and slightly at the top. Now again, give them a good, you know, a good press, and just give them a couple of minutes because we've got quite a lot of Elements ink blended in the multifarious, so we really want this nocturne to soak in. And as I say, you've got a lot of Elements ink blended there. So if I lift that up, oh, that's lovely. Happy with that. And as it happens, look, I think we're all right with our placing. It could have gone either way. So I'm going to add a little bit of colour. And I'm going to come in with a couple of the clean colour pens. And I've gone for my brown is actually the beige. And I've gone for a grey tint. So I want a piece of kitchen towel to lean on. I don't want to get any marks on this now. And I'm just going to add, and the grey tint will just take a little bit of the see-throughness away. I don't want it to be too coloured. I just want it to look a little bit, almost give it a little bit more depth. And you see the difference, but as I say, I don't want it to be elaborately coloured with lots of tones. I just want to take off the starkness of the tree. So we'll do the same on the other side. And I'm just going to turn it round. And again, with these having the brush, so lovely for your fast colouring in. And like I say, again, even this side, I don't want it to be too dark. Now, as you know, these are fabulous for watercolouring, but for me, it tends to work better on the watercolour card. So if I take my brush now, it won't really move much. But what I'm going to do is just grab my acrylic block here and add a little bit of brown and a little bit of the grey to it. And then if I just pick up a little bit of the grey with my brush, just to soften that edge a little bit there. And I'll just do the same with the brown look. and just pick up, and that'll be enough. And I find with just adding it that way, it will move rather than trying to pick it up. And that just gives me enough just to add to that shape. Just probably me just wanting that extra detail, but I do like, you know, these little finishing touches and just making our work look lovely. So what we will do now, we'll stamp our beautiful owl, and he's in the set. It's Broadwin and Malin, and I think that's how you pronounce them, but I'm not sure. You know me and my pronunciations. And I've just got a little bit on my block there. Now this, I think, would look lovely with a sentiment, some lovely words just in the middle. I just fancied using one of our older owls because I've got to admit, these owls were getting really upset because we seem to be using our newer owls a lot. So hence I've used an older one. But obviously, I think a sentiment would look lovely through the trees. I mean, there are so many things. And we've got so many lovely hanging. We could add leaves to our trees, flowers, you could put hanging embellishments. We've got so many lovely stamps. Now what I want to do is just add a little bit of water faux bleach into this. So I'm just going to get my acetate circle mask out again, just to protect the card around it. Get my fan brush, which is in my water pot, and we'll just add a little bit of faux bleaching. And again, because we stamped in permanent ink, that'll be fine. And it just gives that nice effect on the background. If you look with the finished, here we go, we're looking after this sort of, and depending how much water you add, depends on how much you're faux bleaching. I mean, I often find if I want a little bit extra, sometimes I come back in and just add to little areas where I want it. Right, so I'm going to lift that off and just dry that again. But also a little tip, if your blending's not as fabulous as you wanted it, it's a great way of disguising your blending. Now what I will do, I would leave that at home to dry, but for our purposes here, I'm just going to speed it up with my heat tool. Just give it a bit of a... And again, just dry it on the back. As I say, at home I would just leave mine, go and have myself another little brew and let it just dry naturally. So what we'll do, we've dried it, so we just want to add some nice posca, and also we want a sentiment. So what I've done is I've looked, and this one is off, I'll put it at the bottom, I'm not sure what number, this is the Steampunk Sentiments, and I like the My Word. But what I want to do is just, you see how it's quite beigey, and I could do with it being a little bit more orange. So I'm just going to come in with my brush. I thought there might have been enough on there, but there isn't. I need to just pick up a little bit more from the lid. Oh, that's better. And just give that a bit more of an orangey tone. So I'll get my scissors. And I just think that tones it up a little bit more. And I'm going to put that just there in the middle. And with my black fine liner, I have to make sure I don't pick up the brown. I have, look, I've written on it in large writing, so this is the black. And I'm just going to pop a little edge around. Oh my word, that's what we need. And then with my lovely white Posca pen, give it a good shake, and we'll just add a little bit of highlight on our, just a little. I don't want too much. And then again, we'll come in with some splats, and I just want to keep it in the centre, so I'm using my acetate circle again. Few shakes, take the lid off, and we'll just direct them here, look, here. So I'm quite close, directing the splats exactly where I want them, all round that tree. And they'll show up beautifully. Gentle tapping, doesn't need to be a lot. Lid back on, lift this off. And there we have it, look. Our lovely owl flying through the trees. As I say, I think it would look lovely with a sentiment in it. And you can see those beautiful, delicate posca splats. So I'm hoping that's given you some inspiration, and I'm hoping you'll enter the challenge. We really love looking at all the entries. Look at these. I'm just going to pop the two together. I mean, we've got so many stamps, so many tree stamps. And again, obviously, we've got the new owls, haven't we? But don't forget your older owls too. Maybe mix and match them. But what else could you see through the trees? Could have fairies dancing in the middle of the night. They could be having a party. I tell you what, my mind runs riot. In fact, I better stop there because you know what I'm like. So thank you very much as always for joining me. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week and have a lovely weekend when it arrives. And thank you for taking the time to leave such lovely comments. So you take care, everybody. And remember the challenge through the trees this month. Get those crafty juices flowing and please enter. Wouldn't it be lovely if you could actually put on this, Joe, thanks, I entered and I won. That would be lovely if it was one of our friends on here that won. So go on, have a go, I urge you. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.